Good morning and welcome to the brand new West Salisbury. I'm excited. Thank you. And I am so excited to see this day come. It has been long awaited, but you know, it is still a sweet, sweet feeling just to walk into this building every day and come to work. And so I'm extremely excited. And I welcome all of you to this wonderful occasion. We have many, many special friends that have joined us today, but I want to mention a few at this moment. I'm especially excited to welcome Mrs. Mary Ashanti, who is the president of the Wacomico County branch of the NAACP. Mr. Freddie Mitchell from Shore Up Incorporated. Mr. Mike Dunn from the Greater Salisbury Committee. Mr. Bill Chambers, that's the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. Dr. Heidi Anderson from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. She is their new president, and I'm so excited that she has joined us today. From our faith-based partner across the street, Wesley Temple United Methodist Church, and its pastor, Dr. Thank you so much, Dr. Beckett. I am sorry, it's been a long morning. Dr. Bernadette Beckett. From our other faith-based partner that happens to be my church, the St. Paul AME Zion Church, Dr. Thomas E. Tucker Jr., pastor. We have members from the Princess Anne chapter of the Links Incorporated. Good morning, Link sisters. And members of the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa. Now, there are many other friends who will be introduced later on in the program, but we will begin this morning with the presentation of the colors. Please stand. Our second graders will enter. Thank you, second graders. Several of these students were actually in pre-kindergarten the year that we closed. So this is a bittersweet moment for some of them. And following the presentation of the colors, the national anthem will be sung by a very special young lady who was a student at West Salisbury, Jay-Z Organista.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in
allegiance You may be seated. Now, second graders, let's share who we are. I am a West Salisbury Tiger, and that I'm proud to be. You'll learn by the choices I make and good behaviors you see. I'm ready to learn, respectful to all, and accept responsibility. I know I can do great things because I believe in me. Thank you, second graders. You did a beautiful job. And they're going to stay with us and enjoy the program. At this time, Mr. James Hessen, our assistant principal, will share the list of principals.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wright. I have the privilege of presenting the names of the past and present principals of West Salisbury Elementary School. From 1964 to 1978, Mr. Charles Gosley. From 1978 to 1986, Ms. Barbara Twilley. Stevens. From 1986 to 1988, Ms. Jane Burke. Ms. Burke also served as principal of West Salisbury Elementary and Charles H. Chipman Elementary at the same time. From 1988 to 1999, Ms. Lil Giddens. From 1999 to 2004, Dr. Judy Lynn Mitchell. From 2004 to 2016, Ms. Melva Polk Wright. And again, our current principal, Ms. Melva Polk Wright. At this time, Ms. Melva Polk Wright will introduce our school history.
Now, as you can see, in the program, there is some school history. But I had the opportunity to talk to one of my predecessors who shared a few more facts about what happened, especially at the onset of West Salisbury. West Salisbury opened in 1964 to serve African American students grades 1 through 6 in what is now known as the Reservation, the West Road Corridor, and the majority of the Jersey Road Corridor. In September, this building at 1321 West Road was not complete. So they shared space at Salisbury Elementary School, which today is now the Charles H. Chipman Elementary School. Each school utilized the building for a portion of the day. When the new school opened fully opened in November of that year, the cafeteria had not been completed. So they did not serve meals at that point. But when the cafeteria opened, many people would rave about the rolls and home-cooked items that Mrs. Clough, how many people remember Mrs. Clough, would prepare, and that West Salisbury food service staff. As the years moved on, this building became known as one of the two first grade centers. It served first graders from Beaver Run, Pemberton, and Pinehurst. We also had kindergarten and first grade students from the neighborhood surrounding West Salisbury. During some part of that time, I was here teaching first grade. I always had a Beaver Run classroom, and they kept the students together by their school of origin so that when they went back to second grade, there would be other friends that they would know. I also had the pleasure of working for 3 of the other 5 principals that were here at West Salisbury. I worked under Mrs. Barbara Twilley Stevens, under Jane Burke, and under Lil Giddens. And I certainly attribute my standing here today in large form to Lil Giddens. Several years later, West Salisbury became paired with North Salisbury. We then became a kindergarten through grade 2 school. With the addition of pre-K, which initially was a half-day program, we came to the current configuration of West Salisbury. Today, we stand as a building that is home to 55 full-day pre-K students, only 5 slots left, 99 kindergartners, 93 first graders, and 89 second graders, for a total of 336 students at the close of business, September 26, 2018. Not sure if we got a new student today. We are so grateful for the opportunities that we are now able to afford all of our students in this state-of-the-art facility. Thank you to our total community who banded together for the good of our students. We certainly thank our faith-based partners that have supported us and been consistent over the years. We also thank the Links for our ongoing Green Star program with second graders that even kept going over at North Salisbury when we were all not together. And certainly the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa that has been the longest relationship with West Salisbury. And without a doubt, I really couldn't go any further without really thanking the Watchmen with One Voice Ministerial Alliance that was with us shoulder to shoulder throughout this entire process. The faith-based community has been kind to us and extremely supportive. So Watchmen with One Voice, I certainly thank you. Thank you for all of your support. I'm especially excited because my presiding elder of the Eastern Shore District of the Philadelphia-Baltimore Conference of the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church is joining us today, and that is Dr. William Kelly. So thank you so much, presiding elder, for being here. But certainly, we cannot forget Baxter Enterprises that began its awesome relationship with the Wacomico County Public Schools here at West Salisbury many years ago. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell, and Baxter Enterprises. Today is truly the high point of my personal career, but I am more excited for the students, staff, and our total community. And so thank you all so much for being here. This means so much to me personally, certainly to my West Salisbury staff, but it means so much just to our community at large. We will now hear from Bishop George Copeland, who is the Vice President of the Watchmen with One Voice Ministerial Alliance.
I'm Bishop George A. Copeland, the Vice President of the Watchman with One Voice Ministerial Alliance, where the Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Lewis Watson is our president. He asked me to give his apology for us today, and that he had a previous commitment that would take him out of town and he would not be able to be here. So he asked me to come and speak on behalf of the watchman and himself. And I'm going to ask the watchmen that are sitting over here, if you just lift your hands or stand, however we may know who they are. I want to start off by just saying this morning, the real purpose that we're here is to dedicate this beautiful, awesome elementary school, educational, early stage of foundation. We're happy about that. But before I say anything else, I think that the most important people that I would like to acknowledge today, and that is, I want all the parents of these children to stand. Any parents here? Parents of the children. Parents of the children. Parents of the children, or you had former students here. Would you stand? Before now, you had children in the school. Every parent, every parent, every parent, every parent, whether it's present or past. And the children, would you stand? Thank you, Ms. Wright, for having them to come and stand in front. They are really the reason why we're here today, our children. If there were no children, we would not have no job. And you didn't say anything. Normally, when I make a point in church, somebody says amen. Think about it. If we did not have the children, we wouldn't need all of the different officials who are in this room today. We would be unemployed. But because in God's wisdom, he told man and woman to multiply. And in the multiplication, they have given us a reason and a purpose for what we do, whether it's teaching, preaching, whether we're a judge, or mayors, whoever. It is because of the plan of God that we're able to do what we're doing. And I just want to say thank God for all of us that are playing a role in this time in the educating of these precious children. The old prophet of old, Isaiah, said that all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. Thank God for this new facility. Thank God for the staff, the principal, Ms. Wright, and all the other principals who have gone before her, all of the teachers who give their time working with little people. They are not the easiest to work with, but neither are we older folk the easiest to work with. So somebody has to do the job, and we want to say thanks to them and to the cafeteria workers, to the janitorial staff, to every one of you, to all that play a part in the educating of these precious little children. And remembering that, parents, you are their first teacher. If they know anything about life, it's you that taught them. Mothers, if the children know who their father is, because you told them. Whatever happens in life is because of you, and we thank God for our parents. We pray that you will continue to do your best to be the best parent you can, so that when the children come to this facility, they come with a knowledge of what they are here for, and that is to go a little bit higher in their education and to go further. And to say, we do thank God for that happening, because if we don't understand where we are, we won't know where we're going to go. So with the parents sending their children to this facility and to other facilities, they have an opportunity to grow and be all that they can be in this world. And we can stick our heads up proudly and say, it takes a village to raise a child. So it takes everybody in here to make the children's life successful. And when I look around and see all of the county council, the city council, the mayors, the presidents, superintendent of the schools, principals, the General Assembly from our governor's office and all the facilities that are here, thank God that we all came together, because everybody's mind was not on one accord. But through the time of continually negotiating, talking, praying, visiting, talking, praying, not willing to just throw up your hands, but recognize that we need a better facility on this side of town. As I get ready to close, I remember some years ago when I grew up on the other side of in Virginia, from the kindergarten, first grade, to the 10th grade, I was in schools, they had no air conditions. All they did was roll the windows open. And you think of in the summer when it is sure enough hot, and I don't understand it to the day, but after we were about to burn up, and the teacher would finally say, put your head on the desk. And here we sweating bullets, but our heads on the desk trying to cool off. And so to go through that from kindergarten to the 10th grade, at the 10th grade, thanks be unto God, we had a $3 million high school built. And I was the first to go there and enjoy the air conditioning in a school. So to understand what the teachers and the staff and the children have been going through without air conditioning, without the proper things in the school, it has been such a walk. But thank God that we've changed. 21st century has brought about and is bringing about a great change. And I want to say to each of you today, let us move with the change. Let us do all we can to educate, to strengthen our children. Because let's face it, brothers and sisters, one day, these children, will decide what happens to us. They will not always be little ones, but they will sit where you're sitting, and they can determine what they'll do with you when you and me. I'm 71. I'll be 71 the 13th. They'll decide what home will I stay in. They'll decide if I'm to get rid of me because I'm costing the taxpayers too much money. They will decide what will happen. So what we do for them now will count later. So please let us do all we can to love these children, support them, and give them the best that we can give them. And let us get out of the box and think ahead. What it's going to be like when they take over if we don't think about it now. Again, we just want to thank you. And we'd like to, from the Watchman, present this plaque to you, Miss Principal, who has done a great job. Would you all just give her a big round? I really think she deserves a standing ovation. Your plate has been filled, but you, as a warrior, you didn't give up the fight. You hung in there, and you came to the Watchman, and we stopped what we were doing to join shoulders with you and say, we'll help you in the fight. And I want to thank God. From the Watchman, our president, Dr. Watson, and from yours truly, Bishop Copeland, Dr. Leon Copeland, Bishop Jesse Abbott, we want to say to the West Salisbury Elementary School teachers and staff for helping our children and community soar on wings like eagles with a spirit of excellence. This is presented this 27th day, September 2018, by the Watchman with one voice. May God bless you, and we're always here to pray for you, and we're here to be, as Ezekiel talked about, we're to be the watchman. Our eyes is to be open to you and open to God. Whatever God's saying, that's what we're going to say and what we're going to do. God bless you. We love you.
And we are so excited to be surrounded by a total community that has embraced us and continues to embrace education. We will now hear from the mayor of the city of Salisbury, Mr. Jake Day.
Well, good morning. Hold on one second. Everybody hear me okay? Well, look, it is an honor to be here. And isn't this a beautiful facility? I'm just amazed at this incredible building, this site, the work that the design team put into this, the work that the facilities team at the Board of Education put into this. It's incredible. This is a real state-of-the-art facility. This community deserves it. This neighborhood deserves it. And I'm proud that this school is in the city of Salisbury. I'm proud that this is another addition to an expansion of what our community is doing together as a partnership. But we all know that facilities are just the beginning, right? And they're special. They are special. For example, I didn't realize, and I enjoyed this moment because sometimes I get teased for being a young man, but I enjoyed this moment that I just learned that Bishop Copeland had air conditioning in his high school. I didn't. I didn't in this county. But we did have chicken fans, and they were pretty good. We really did. Yes, we did. But it's more than just buildings. It's more than just bricks and mortar. It's the community that put this together. It's incredible leadership, like leadership from our generous governor, leadership from our Eastern Shore delegation who's there fighting for us every single day, leadership from our Board of Education at the county level, the county leadership and Dr. Hanlon, leadership from the community. And that's really what's telling to me. This, and let's not forget it, this is a victory of community, partnership, cooperation, and muscle. The community spoke. And you made something happen for generations to come. And this is incredible for that very reason. And the impact that you're having and that you've had on this community goes well beyond just establishing a school. Because I guarantee you, by wrapping your arms around the next class and the next class and the next class of second grader to walk through here, of preschooler to walk through this school, you're impacting the lives of young people in ways that you can't even imagine. Because I stand here today as one student that went through this school, and I look out in this audience and I think about the Bonnie Walstons and the Carolyn Elmores, the adults in this community who made an impact on me. I look out across this audience and I see the Dan Savoys, I see the Lil Giddens, I see the Donna Hanlons, principals of mine who made me believe that I can come back to this place and be successful. And you're having that same impact on young people, I guarantee it. You're doing it now, and I guarantee there are professionals in the audience like Kevin and Brad Hastings who had an impact on one young person. I guarantee you, because you fought and you stood up, you're having that impact on dozens of young people at the back of this room. So thank you. Thank you for that. With that, I've got a proclamation. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I've used more than my time. But I want to say this. West Salisbury Elementary School's rededication ceremony today celebrates the school's unwavering presence as an education center in our community for more than 50 years. So now, therefore, I, Jacob Day, the mayor of the city of Salisbury, do hereby proclaim September 27th, 2018 as West Salisbury Elementary School Day in our city. And I urge all citizens in the city of Salisbury and throughout the Wicomico County public school system to celebrate West Salisbury Elementary School's rich heritage, its past, its present, and its future. Congratulations. I will do that. Thank you. my principal just gave me an important reminder. There are a couple of people that I'd like to say thank you to who are here today. The process of annexing the property for the school into the city of Salisbury required work not only at the county facilities or the Board of Education Facilities Department and architectural teams. It actually required partnership with our city government, required partnership with our city staff. So I'm going to ask Julia Glanz, our city administrator, Amanda Pollock, our director of infrastructure and development, our councilwoman, April Jackson, and our council president, Jack Heath, to please stand up. Just a reminder that it takes a team, and it does, as Bishop Copeland said, it does take a village to support our children. So, thank you.
Today, September the 27th, is West Salisbury Day in the city of Salisbury. We're going to celebrate that all day long. That is amazing. And we're excited next to welcome from the County Executive's Office, Wayne Strasburg.
Let me just start by saying I envy Jake because I never get teased about being a young man. I want to start off with just a couple vignettes, if you will. I went to school first grade to third grade in a repurposed National Guard armory. And it was a little bit like going to school in a military institution. Fairly depressing, not conducive to being invigorated about learning. In the fourth grade, we moved to a brand new state-of-the-art school. It did have air conditioning. Dwight Eisenhower was president. He was in his second term, if that will give you an indication of how long ago that was. So I distinctly remember coming into that school the first day and just feeling so proud to be in a school like that. And it instilled in me a sense of pride because even as a fourth grader, I felt valued. I felt that the community valued its children enough that they would invest in a school like that. And it reinvigorated a thirst for learning. I wanted to go to school each day, and I think these young second graders back here must feel the same way. So this is one of those days when the trials and tribulations of public service are all worth it. It's just a really, really great day. Before I go further, I'd like to introduce our County Council President, John Cannon, and Councilman Ernie Davis, who's here. Remember that the executive branch can only offer up and endorse projects. They have to be funded by the county council. The borrowing for the school had to be approved by the county council, and they were great partners with us in this exercise. The process, and this is very interesting, and it's stuck in my memory, and it's firmly implanted there. We were in the capital improvement plan process, and I believe at the time West Salisbury Elementary replacement or renovation was probably number 20 on the priority list. And a very gracious and very eloquent lady came to the podium and very clearly articulated why that was a mistake and the fact that this school needed to be built. We took that very, very seriously. We amended the CIP that we submitted. We moved West Salisbury Elementary to the number 1 priority for the county that year. And what that demonstrated to me was the power that one person can have. In the ensuing months, and this has been spoken of, in the ensuing months, the entire community gathered together, collaborated, and we went through the process. Who was on the tour of the old school, the day that we walked through the whole school and tried to figure out what we should do. If you were there, stand up, please. I mean, there were a lot of different representatives from the community in that school that day, and there were a lot of different opinions, but we concluded over the next several months that the appropriate course of action was to build a brand new school. And here we are today. And it just shows you the power of one person, and it shows you the power of community collaboration, opening your ears, opening your minds, sharing your ideas, and by doing that, you come to better conclusions, and I think we've come to a great conclusion here. As the administration's School Building Commission representative, I have been really, really pleased to be involved in this entire process. And our children now have a wonderful new school in which to learn. So I extend my best wishes to them, to Principal Wright, to the entire staff, but especially to the children. I want to conclude my statements by acknowledging Liesl Ashby, and I think Matt Aukie is here as well, if they would stand. And Hugh Livingston. Hugh Livingston is here as well. He chairs the School Building Commission. And Liesl, Matt, and her staff do an incredible job of developing, maintaining, constructing, planning for our schools. The Board of Education, School Building Commission hold them to a very high standard, and they absolutely, consistently deliver. This is living proof of it, so job well done. Very proud of you.
And certainly, as we continue with elected officials, and I'm so excited to present this next young lady because she was also a student here at West Salisbury a handful of years ago. And so we're excited to bring Delegate Cherie Sample Hughes from District 37A.
Good morning, everyone. That is nice and strong. As Principal Wright said, it has been a couple handfuls or more years ago since I was a Tiger. And I must say that I am very proud to be amongst everyone today, to be here and to flourish in this blessing. It truly is a blessing. I bring you greetings from the Maryland General Assembly. I serve District 37A, and humbly, it has been a walk. It's been a journey. It's been lots of prayers. But I must say that when I was asked to speak briefly this morning, in the email it said briefly, so I made a point of that. But all I could say at that given moment was amen and amen. Because we have come this far. Because it has been many days, many nights of trying to figure out how to navigate through the process, how to ensure that our voices were heard, how to ensure that equality was realized, because oftentimes that doesn't happen in communities. But what I will say is that our community, collectively, each and every one of us, stood strong and steadfast to ensure that we could be in such a building that it is today. So again, as a parent of children who have come to this school, and as a child here myself, it is a blessing. I remember the day we broke ground, all the dirt came up in my face, and I thought about the day I fell off the sliding board here at West Salisbury and tasted the dirt. I said, if this is the beginning of good things, okay, I'm good, I'm in. But you never know where God will lead you and where he will place you, and I say that for this reason, because the days where I was here learning in the classroom, sweating, Today, we're not sweating. But I was sweating through the process because I know the day that we had to go before the Public Works Commission in Annapolis and standing alongside our county leaders, we had to plead our case to say this is important to our community, this is important to the children's future. And we stood there and we stood strong. And so to that end, this is a testament of what we can do together. I'm just appreciative of everyone, the custodial staff, the teachers, the principals, our community, and our faith-based partners. Thank you for standing fast and staying strong. This morning, I would like to share with you a citation from my colleagues. If we could, we have our colleagues stand. That would be our famous delegates. They're like hesitant to stand. But Delegate Carl Anderton, Delegate Mary Beth Carrozza, and Delegate Chris Adams. So the one thing that my colleagues learned from me was that I wasn't playing. This was going to get done. And they understood that we were going to do it together, but it all through God's grace and mercy has happened. So, a citation, the Maryland General Assembly official citation, be it hereby known to all that the sincerest congratulations are offered to West Salisbury Elementary School in recognition of the significant reinvestment in the children, families, and neighborhoods of West Salisbury. We join the community in celebrating the new improvements and look forward to the opportunities it will bring. Presented on this 27th day of September 2018 by the Wycomico County House Delegation, Delegate Carl Anderton, Delegate Chris Adams, Delegate Mary Beth Carrozza, Delegate Johnny Mouse, and myself, Delegate Cherie Sample Hughes. Just, I'd like to say continued blessings to our community and to you and your leadership, Mrs. Wright, because you were here the day I was in school, so I just know that you are steadfast and a firm believer. So keep pressing forward. God bless you.
Wow. And interestingly enough, I think that's a word I'm going to be using all day. Wow, because it's just so exciting to see so many of you here, so many kind words, so many positive thoughts, and so many great memories that have happened here at West Salisbury. We're also excited to have with us this morning Senator Addie Eckerd from District 37. She will come forward at this time.
Thank you so much. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad, and let's hear it from everybody. As everybody has said, we've come this far, and I would say we've come this far by faith. It's been faith. And God has had everybody he needed to have in place through all the ups and all the downs to be able to get here. And so I would just say, from my perspective, I am honored and privileged to be here because I believe I'm in the middle of a reunion. What once was separated and all over through the years, even with a lot of strong leadership, starting with Mr. Gosley and coming on down to Ms. Wright, what once was separated is now back together. And it is by faith. And I don't think it's fate. I think God has a purpose. God is doing something mighty. And he's had everything mapped out all along. And this is a wonderful model. Let it be a template, a message, something that others could look at and learn from in bringing reunion in other places. Thank you so much. Ms. Melba Wright, congratulations to you, to your team, to the clergy, to the Deltas, to the community, to the kids. It is all about the kids. And on behalf of the Maryland General Assembly and the Senate, I say we are honored to be here, to be able to see the investment of taxpayer dollars, how it plays out, and then we will be watching the good work that takes place here as we move into all-day pre-K and all-day kindergarten and those early formative years. Train up a child the way that they should go, and they will not depart from it. You all will have a major role in that. So you've got the building, you've got the talented staff, you've got the vision. This is the reunion. God bless you. We do have a citation. Senator Mathias, you want to stand up here? Come on up here with me. You have 2 senators, and so we have an official citation on behalf of the Senate, and I will turn it over to my colleague, and he can read that to you since I've already exceeded my time. Thank you, Senator.
Well, good morning. It's a beautiful day. Go Tigers! And God bless you. On behalf of all of us, I'm most proud and pleased to be here. Very simply, this is the most important investment we can make in our futures for our children. God bless you. From the Maryland General Assembly, the House, the Senate, you've already heard it, Governor Hogan. We wish you the best, and carry on your great work. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eddie.
Oh, you're welcome.
And certainly, the partnership is not totally complete without the integration of the Wacomico County Board of Education. And so next we will hear from Board of Education President, Mr. Don Fitzgerald.
Wow. You know, I hate to Fowler to speak behind Mayor Day because he's an awesome speaker. And with my voice, you know, it's a little tough. But I got a lot of thank yous. And first and foremost is this community. Without this community, this school would not have been built. I was there at the meetings. I spoke along with them, and I stand with them, and look at it today. So thank you. Thank you to the county executive. Thank you to the county council. We don't always see eye to eye, but I think we're here for the same reason, these kids. And again, as long as we can work together, everything will happen. Thanks to the city of Salisbury, Amanda and her group, Jake, for what they did to make this happen. It's not an easy task, but they did it. Thank you to the state of Maryland, to the delegates sitting out here, and the senators. And there's one gentleman who hadn't got recognized today, but he's been a friend of Wacomico County for a number of years. Dr. Lever, please stand, because without you, this wouldn't happen. Board members, the board members serving with me when we got the news that this would happen. Kim Hudson was my vice president, and I was hoping she would be here. Please stand. Mr. Ron Willie. Dr. Tyrone Chase. Dr. Carolyn Elmore. John Palmer had some family issues. He's not with us. And Joe Ollinger, I don't believe I saw him. And then the new board members who are here today. Gene Malone, my vice president. Michael Murray, board member. John Palmer again is not here. Bill Turner, I saw him. He must have had something come up. Maria Waller, who's been fighting hard. And we got word she might be here, but I do not see her. Keep her in your prayers. And last but not least, from this community, and a great asset to this board, Alan Brown. Some more thank yous. And we haven't heard it much today. And I think Bill might have, or Bob might have left. Whiting Turner Group, if you're in the house, please stand. Thank you. Becker Morgan Group, please stand. And Lisa, I know you've been up one time, but if you'll stand with your staff, I'd appreciate it. Some of them are hiding in the back. Ladies and gentlemen, these youngsters we had up in front of us, this is what it's all about. It's not about me. We've had our time. It's about these youngsters. Well, I'm a product of this system and proud of it. And I want to give back. So someday, one of them second graders will be standing up here speaking to the next group. So again, I want to thank you all. And what an awesome place. And again, Jake, no chicken fans. Thank you.
And with much pride, I present the next group of friends that will perform for you an original composition by our wonderful music teacher, Mr. Rodney Lee. I give you West Salisbury first graders.
Good morning, everyone. Again, this is Rodney Lee. I'm the music teacher here at West Salisbury. I won't be long. When I was given this task, I thought to myself, what could I do that would be enjoyable for the kids? So I decided to take the Kiki song. Anybody familiar with the Kiki challenge? And we created and put our own twist on it, and the words go, "We are the Tigers, and we came to say to you that learning and growing and loving is what we do." We hope you enjoy. Cue the music, please. Strong voices, 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. We are the Tigers, and we came to say to you that learning and growing and loving is what we do. We are the Tigers, and we came to say to you that learning and growing and loving is what we do. Raise your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands. Come on, join us. Wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands. Hey, hey, wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands. Hey, hey. 1, 2, last time. Ready, go. We are the Tigers, and we came to say to you that learning and growing and loving is what we do. We are the Tigers, and we came to say to you that learning and growing and loving is what we do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. West Salisbury first graders. Thank you so much.
Weren't they fantastic? And thank you so much, Mr. Lee. And the second graders have been sitting so nicely so they could get to watch their first grade friends perform. And so first grade teachers, they're yours. Thank you, boys and girls. You did an awesome job. Good job, guys. Very proud of you. Thank you again, Mr. Lee, for that original composition. And so you all realize that to run a school is one thing, and we enjoy the challenge of actually working with these wonderful students every day and the amazing staff that is here at West Salisbury. And I do say amazing, because together we are able to provide a quality opportunity for all our students. But I just have to work at one school. And so I cannot imagine the task of our superintendent when she's not guiding the ship merely at one place, but also but making sure that every ship in our public school system does work and work effectively day in and day out. So it is with much pleasure that I present to you Dr. Donna C. Hanlon, the superintendent of the Wacomico County Public School System.
Well, good morning. Board members and distinguished guests, community members, staff, and students. Today is indeed a celebration, and what a wonderful way to also celebrate our 150th birthday. So it was just 27 months ago that I was able to be here. It was just prior to officially beginning in my role as superintendent of schools for the groundbreaking for this wonderful new school, 27 months ago. That's not very long ago. And it was a great way to begin my career here in Wacomico County, to witness the incredible community support for our public schools. The excitement of parents and the community, but most of all the students, was just amazing. In fact, I selected a picture of the boys and girls who were breaking ground with shovels in hand. I selected a picture from that ceremony to be part of our vision points that are now displayed in all of our schools, because that picture really epitomizes for me what we want for our public schools, what we aspire to. So we're here today, and I've had the opportunity to visit this school along the way through the process, and of course a few times since the facility has been finished, and it is incredible. Each time I am overwhelmed by this sense of accomplishment. It's certainly not my accomplishment, but the accomplishment of many for this beautiful state-of-the-art facilities. I also want to commend Mrs. Ashby, our Director of Planning and Construction, and Mr. Matt Aukie, our Facilities Planner, for their incredible work. This is just one project, and they work on many, many. If you saw their spreadsheet, it would just gloss your eyes over. So we really, really appreciate their leadership. I also want to recognize, as Mr. Fitzgerald did, the support that we received from David Lever. He was the former executive director of the Interagency Committee on School Construction. And thank you so much for joining us here today. You were such a valuable part of the planning process for this school, and we appreciate you making the time to come and be with us today, Dr. Lever. It is remarkable that it was just 27 months ago, and I'm emphasizing that because really, from the time of the groundbreaking to the opening of schools, it was just 2 years. And Liesl tells me that's unheard of. And so I really want to once again thank Becker Morgan Group and also Whiting Turner and Liesl and Matt and their team for their perseverance, their leadership, for making this happen in just 2 years. It's incredible. Thank you so much. And finally, I want to, as others have done, thank our state and our local leaders for your support, for your continued support for our public schools, and for making this specific project happen. So it's now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker for this morning, Dr. Karen Salmon. Dr. Salmon has spent more than 30 years as an educator in Maryland, and most importantly, on Maryland's Eastern Shore. She began her career as a special education teacher in Caroline County. She later became vocational coordinator and assistant principal in Caroline schools before moving to Talbot County as the coordinator of services for exceptional children. She was promoted to assistant superintendent in 1997 and to superintendent of Talbot County Public Schools in 2003, in which role she served until 2013. She then left us for a short period of time to serve as the superintendent of schools in Bay Union Free School District in Bayshore, New York, for 2 years before returning to Maryland, first as assistant superintendent, state superintendent for college and career readiness, prior to being named interim superintendent for school effectiveness. Dr. Salmon was named the state superintendent of schools on July 1st, 2016. And as part of her many responsibilities, Dr. Salmon has served as the head of this interagency committee, now commission, on school construction. So we thank you, Dr. Salmon, for your leadership and for your ongoing advocacy for construction funding, especially in the needs of our county. And we're so pleased that you were able to join us today for this wonderful celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Karen Salmon.
So good morning, West Salisbury Elementary School. What a marvelous morning this has been, just to sit here and listen to all the history of what's gone behind this, an incredible project in this beautiful, beautiful school. It's not every day you get a new school in your community, so we should take the time to celebrate. A lot of partners came together to see this project, and we've been hearing about them this morning, and we're lucky to be joined by most of them today. A big thank you to our superintendent, Dr. Hanlon, and Principal Wright. I've been so motivated watching her today, and the rest of the Salisbury community for your dedication and hard work in getting this complete overhaul done so efficiently. The contractors, construction crews, and architects at Whiting-Turner and the Becker-Morgan Group also really did a fantastic job on this facility. Let's give them another round of applause. It's also great to see a number of elected officials and community leaders with us. Thank you to our County Executive Culver, Mayor Day, members of the Wicomico County Council, Board of Education, and Wicomico County Legislative Delegation for the parts that you've all played in this collaborative effort. I also want to mention Charles Chipman and North Salisbury Elementary Schools, who graciously welcomed the students of West Salisbury during this time of rebuilding. So much goes on into rebuilding and opening a new school, and so many people in this community work tirelessly to make this happen. I have a story that I'd like to share with you. A man came across 3 masons who were working at chipping chunks of granite from large blocks. The first seemed unhappy at his job, chipping away and frequently looking at his watch. When the man asked what it was that he was doing, the first mason responded rather curtly, "I'm hammering this stupid rock, and I can't wait till 5 o'clock when I can go home." A second mason, seemingly more interested in his work, was hammering diligently, and when asked what it was he was doing, he answered, "Well, I'm molding this block of rock so that it can be used with others to construct a wall. It's not bad work, but I'm sure I'll be glad when it's done." A third mason was hammering in his block fervently, taking time to stand back and admire his work. He chipped off some small pieces until he was satisfied that it was the best he could do. When he was questioned about his work, he stopped. He gazed skyward and proudly proclaimed, "I am building a cathedral." 3 men, 3 different attitudes, all doing the same job. This story illustrates that purpose has the power to transform not only your attitude about the work that we do, but the quality of work as well. I know that the individuals who planned and rebuilt West Salisbury Elementary School intended to build a cathedral, and they did. The school and the school community needed this new building. They needed it because having a 21st century facility like this for our students is critical to their success in their future, and they are our future. The boundless opportunities and technology available to us continues to change rapidly, and having the resources and the foundation in a school to adapt to those changes is increasingly necessary. However, learning to work in dynamic conditions and simultaneously incorporate emerging media and technology is crucial for all students. The ability to work collaboratively in small groups, to concoct ways of problem solving together, all while understanding all the fundamentals, is a reality of living and working in today's world. It is also likely to be the reality of the future. It's certainly a challenge to keep up with the times, but I'm pleased to see that the students here at West Salisbury Elementary will have the proper tools and resources available for their next future generations. Having a proper environment for our children to learn, focus, and thrive is very important too. West Salisbury now has dedicated spaces for art, music, physical education, and school assemblies. With a new school that is over double the size, the number of portable classrooms has gone from 5 to 0. And they also have air conditioning, which we've heard a lot about today, throughout the building for the first time. I'm also happy to hear that all the schools throughout Wicomico County are now air conditioned, because Dr. Hanlon will tell you that's not always been the case here in the county. As Wicomico County Public Schools celebrates 150 years of operation, I think it's also important that even with all the fabulous new amenities here at West Salisbury Elementary, that we look back and recognize the history of the school that educated children here for over 50 years. West Salisbury Elementary has been a fixture in this community for many decades, since it first opened in 1964. This renovation has now established it and reestablished it for many years to come. This new modern facility will continue to foster a sense of community and inclusiveness, along with the passion and energy of the teachers and administrators here, who will have the vision to maximize the potential of the new school and its students. I am so excited to see what you will all be able to accomplish here. There are so many others who have contributed to the new school that may not be listed in your program, but I want to recognize their contributions today as well. No one can build and operate a school alone. You all built this school together. Everyone worked together as a team. You know, that reminds me that nature can provide some great lessons for us. I'm sure you know, because it's the season now, that every fall, thousands of geese fly from Canada to the southern part of the United States to escape the bitterly cold Canadian winter. As soon as a flock of geese take flight from Canadian waters, they quickly form a V-shaped flying pattern, with one rotating goose in the center lead and all the other geese trailing behind those two close lines. Wildlife scientists have concluded extensive studies to determine why geese and other migratory birds always fly in a distinctive V formation. They found some interesting results. When geese fly together, each goose provides additional lift and reduces air resistance for the goose flying behind it. Consequently, by flying together in that V formation, scientists estimate that the whole flock can fly about 70% further with the same amount of energy that if each goose flew alone. Geese have also discovered they can reach their destination more quickly and with less energy expended when they fly together in formation. We know that when people work together harmoniously on teams, sharing common values and a common destination, they all arrive at that destination quicker and easier because they are lifted up by the energy and enthusiasm of one another. And I think that's why this school happened in 27 months. When a goose drops out of the V formation, it quickly discovers that it requires a great deal more effort and energy to fly. Consequently, that goose will return quickly to the formation to take advantage of the lifting power that comes from flying together. Sometimes people playing on teams will drop out of the group and try to accomplish goals on their own. I'm sure that did not happen here. However, like the geese, they usually discover that they miss the synergy and energy that comes when they are an active part of a cohesive team moving toward their destination. Geese also rotate leadership. When the goose flying in front of the formation has to expend the most energy because it's the first to break up the flow of air that provides that additional lift, consequently, when the lead goose gets tired, it drops out of the front position and moves to the rear of the formation, where the resistance is lightest, and another goose moves more to the leadership position. The rotation of position happens many times in the course of the long journey to warmer climates. When a team is functioning well, various members of that team may take the leadership role for a while because of a particular expertise or experience. Consequently, on good teams, everyone has the opportunity to serve as a leader as well as a follower. Geese honk at each other. We know that. They also frequently make loud honking sounds when they fly together. Scientists speculate that this honking is their way of communicating with each other during that long flight. Similarly, when working on teams, it is exceedingly important for each team member to communicate regularly with the other team members. Teams frequently fall apart because of the lack of adequate communication among the various members of the team. Perhaps human teams can learn from our flying flocks of geese that constant communication among members is exceedingly important and moving effectively towards a common destination. It is obvious to me that your school community followed all of these important teamwork lessons to design and construct this beautiful new school facility. West Salisbury Elementary School is a tremendous resource for our community, for your children, and for the future. I look forward to seeing the impact that it will have. Thank you very much for having me today. This is so exciting. Congratulations on the opening of your fabulous new school.
You know, it's so interesting. As I sit back and look out at the crowd, I see a face that maybe I didn't see right at the onset. And I just do have a couple of more people that I certainly would like to just mention and thank. And certainly, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're really excited to have a wonderful PTA executive committee that hit the ground running in June when we knew we were all coming back. And certainly have worked very hard with us. So if the team would stand, led by President Tammy Carey. Thank you so much, Tammy, and team. Thank you all so much for everything. Also, I see another face that has been around in Wicomico County a good portion of my career. She has most recently retired, but certainly stays always in our heart, and that is Dr. Margot T. Handy, who is the Assistant Superintendent for Instruction. Thank you, Dr. Handy. And as has been mentioned, when we were on hiatus, there were two schools that welcomed our students. And you know, as much as I wanted to lay claim to them, those 2 years, they really belong to two other arenas. And so certainly I want to go on record to make certain that I thank Mrs. Antoinette Perry over at the Charles H. Chipman Elementary School. And at North Salisbury, let's see, when they first went to North Salisbury, Mrs. Ruby Brown was the principal at North Salisbury. Followed by Dr. Renee Hall, and then now certainly they are led by Mr. Dave Harris. So thank you, Ruby and Dr. Hall, certainly for welcoming my staff and my students, and so for that we're really grateful. And I can't close today without thanking my director, who I report directly to, who's been supportive throughout the years that we've worked together, but certainly throughout this process from getting to old school to new school, and that would be Dr. Susan Jones. And so today, wow, I'm excited, I'm in awe. Thank you all who felt it not robbery to join us here this morning. So many central office staff, so many, if I named it, we'd be here for a long time. But also a really, really special thank you to my West Salisbury family. Many of us have been together since 2004. Some that were here when I came here to teach first grade in 1983. There are still 2 people that are as old as I am and were here then. And so this is my 20th year in this building. As I don't know, I said it to somebody earlier today, but it's my 3rd rodeo here at West Salisbury, but it is my 20th year this is my 37th. I've had 37 first days of school, and I'm still loving every day what I do. I do see a couple of my administrative colleagues who stole away from their own buildings to be here, so thank you, Jason, Melissa. I saw, Glenda and Joyce. And thank you all so much for stealing away from other places to join us here today. And so we now will dismiss you to enjoy some refreshments provided by our food service in the county. Mr. Gosley, thank you very much. But for those of you who would like tours of the school, we will certainly begin those tours. Assistant Principal, Mr. Hessen, thank you, Mr. Hessen. He's joined us and he hit the ground running and certainly has been a true asset since we came together around July 1. And so Mr. Hessen and a few other of my West Salisbury staff will certainly be glad to tour you, answer any questions that you have. Now, I need to walk out with my friends that are in the front. We are going to the plaque at the entranceway for a photo op, and certainly those of you and other members of the Maryland General Assembly that would like to join us out at the plaque in the entryway, we would love to have you there. But for everyone else, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you from the heart of West Salisbury. We thank you just for being here with us today.